Hi there. I wanted to record a quick video for a friend of mine. We're talking about Baldur's Gate 3 and the difficulty and how that differs for player and player. And I just wanted to show off this fight in honor mode. It's very easy. It's nothing special. I think there should be a fight up here for Volo. Um, and please excuse the thick German accent. Um, to show off some builds, and to be honest, I think any of these builds could probably solo the game. Maybe not solo, but yeah, the Gale build for sure. Shadowheart build too. The others, you'll see. You'll see. Let's start this, and then I'll talk little bit about the gear and the builds. The Shadowheart build is a little bit overkill and uses some late game items, but the whole build is perfectly viable with other items. I'm gonna spam through this.
I really think we ought to step in here. Whatever his crime, his punishment is surely. What? No.
So, and let's just. Oh, I'm not even. That. I don't have alert, otherwise it would be my turn. Anyway, Shadowheart. Shadowheart is a blade dancer, is what they call it. It's basically a bard together with a fighter and one extra level in whatever you want, really. I got one level in cleric before because I was just getting the one-hander. Usually I was wearing her two-handed spear. Then it's really useful one level in cleric to have another attack per round for per your bonus action. Now I got the rapier, so I think I would change that level in cleric to maybe wizard for another spell, maybe level 6 bard for lore bard. Doesn't really matter. The gear, let's ignore the ballast armor. That's overpowered as hell. Everything else, the hell not the. This is Act 2. This is Act 2. This is Act 1. This is the reason you should always kill Kaga. I think it's still the best amulet in the game. This is Act 2, and this is just because my good rings are on other characters. I wanted to play around with it, maybe get a bonus action hold person or something. Doesn't matter. It's basically just a fighter with some bard skills. Now let's see what she does. Probably two shots her. Okay, that was one single attack for 60 damage, so that's pretty realistic. Let's lose that bonus action. Lose that too. And dead. So nothing to see here. And that's without haste. That's without using any of the specials. That without attacking two targets. Without a bonus turn. That character here could easily do 3 to 4 times that damage in a single turn. The strength elixir you don't need because it scales with dexterity. I put it on because it's even better than 18 dexterity. You could put 27 strength on here and you'd be even more insane. That build is... it's just mean. Now Astarion. Astarion in this party is my supporter because I was running out of a little bit of support, so he's just the cleric. Just the level 12 cleric. Light cleric is pretty important because light clerics are good. And he basically functions as, and I split it a little bit around, as my Radiant Orb debuffer. Here's a Radiant Orb source, here's a Radiant Orb source, here's a Radiant Orb source. All of these are acquirable in Act 1 and 2. What it does is, whenever I do any kind of Radiant damage, everybody will get debuffed by tons of Radiant Orb and will no longer be able to hit you. Let's try it with this guy. Oh, we can do it even how it's meant to do. Let's go with this one. Radiant damage. Click it once. So that's 2 stacks of Radiant Orb, 10 stacks, 2 stacks. Should have been closer for the chest, but it's a lot of stacks of Radiant Orb, and Radiant Orb does what? -1 to attack roll. Means this guy now has a -10 to attack rolls. He will never ever hit me again. Um, yeah, let's do this. Let's do this and wait for our turn. Rest of Astarion is just, he's a caster. I gave him some caster gear that's running around everywhere. Here's a good reason why Light Cleric is good. Um, Nothing too extraordinary. It's just a holy priest or a light cleric with the radiant orb gear. That's what I call it. Um, let's. I mean, we shouldn't wipe. It's still honor mode. Let's use that elemental real quick. It's of no importance in this showcase. Just whatever. Do something. I'm not sure if he survives. Let's see. He's before me. This is the reason why you really should spec alert on every character on honor mode. My turn is too late because I'm greedy and not specking alert on two characters. So, Gale. Gale is because I just love casters and I always want to play multiple casters, and it gets a bit tricky with the gear you want for the casters. We'll talk about the gear later, especially this ring. It's like the only ring in the game that does extra caster damage. Gale, I've set up as the, let's call it a reverberation caster. All the gear that's needed for reverberation caster is available in Act 1 and 2. Again, only thing you need. Usually you take, ah, even spec for cold here. Okay, but it doesn't matter. What's important is this pair of gloves very early. The boots, also reverberation. There's a necklace I got on this character again, also Act 2 reverberation. Basically, together with the staff, I'm very on this character. Lightning charges also very, very, very early in Act 1. It's the quest reward for the saving Floric from the burning house. Always take this, the other two rewards are just shit. Um, and he's doing stuff with that. Nothing very important on Gale here. It's just that this build, 2-level wizard, doesn't matter, so I can get some extra spells experimenting here. But really, it's just Spore Druid all the way. The build is Imba. You got a shit ton of really, really, really good summons. Um, you have spells without end. Since most of my spell power is in my main character, he's more of a supporting role instead of a pure damage caster. In this game, I'm trying it out with the frost spells. Haven't really tried it out, so let's see if the frost spells with reverberation make anything useful. That's okay. I'm just skipping all the abilities. I want to show stuff and not kill all of them in the first round. Yeah, we can wait with him, and now it's my turn. So my main character is just 10 sorcerer, fire sorcerer for fire damage, 2 levels fighter, and purely and only for action search. Um, action search is just really good. I think on lower difficulties it's even not just an extra action but an extra turn. Maybe I haven't played it in a while. Doesn't matter. Um, if you want to go all out, like when you want to one-shot bosses or stuff, you might go, let's say, without any exploits for unlimited sorcery points or something. Let's say Twin Spell, Haste, on myself, and on another Imba character. Usually I would put Shadowheart in that party, but let's just press Gale, doesn't matter. Now you had two peoples that are hasted, and now you just, with level 2 slot, you could go to level 5 and do so much more. Just level 2, don't need that. Boom. That's 3 rays for how much? Come. 3 rays for 20, 22, 55, 57, 59, 63, 73 damage for 3 rays. With level 5, you can see it's 3, 4, 5, 6 rays, so with the level 6 spell slot, you would do double of that. With a level 6 spell slot. One action. That's 140 to 150 damage. That's most of the bosses already down to a half-life. And that's before I take another action, that's before I got hasted and got another action, and that's before I use Quicken Spell and got another action. I might even use Bloodlust and get another action. Like, this char alone can easily one-shot. I just came from the Dark Urge fight against Orin, and she died within the first turn. Like, I cast Fire, a Scorching Ray, Action Surge, Scorching Ray, it's a one-on-one, she's dead. And that was, I think, even not even a single crit. And you can stack crit on that, even if you want. So basically, we don't need this anymore. Let's speak about a bit about the gear. Basically, as a fire sorcerer, you don't really care about save DC. I got quite a lot now, especially arcane acuity. That's a buff. Spell attack is what you need with this build, so you might even give the DC gear to some other caster. But let's just see. You can get this, the risky ring, very, very, very good with this build. Callous Glow Ring and Spine Shatter Amulet. I think everything of those are from Act 1 and 2. The gloves are really insane. So yeah, they do a lot of damage, but this build is good before. The gloves just give it a kicker in the end game. It's good before. Um, Here, the only thing, there are quite a few chests with spell attack rolls earlier in the game. The first one is also in Act 1 even, yeah, in Act 1 in the Grymforge you can get the, don't even know what it's called, but on the way to the forge there's a door you can't lockpick but have to smash open. There's a chest and there's something with sparkly in the name. Got +1 DC, spell attack 2 or spell DC, I think. Doesn't really matter. Anything. So even like this, I can't unequip it in combat. Even like this, the build would be very powerful. Even earlier in game, I would suggest just go anything you want and just take everything with lightning charges and reverberation. If you take a caster, give him every item you find with lightning charges and reverberation, it's gonna smash everything. And those items are all available until the end of Act 2 easily. Like you take, like I said with Gale, you take this amulet, you take this ring which is in the morgue, you take those boots, which I think are Nyanadok, you take the gloves with reverberation, and the lightning charge staff from Act 1. Yeah, I talked about it, the quest where you get it. Just in Act 2, with the lightning charge gear and the reverberation gear, you can basically, as a caster, and it doesn't even really matter what kind of caster, you just need to make sure you have spells that hit a lot. I think the same gear for a wizard with Arcane Missile would do the same amount of insane damage at that point. You can give it to the druid and do it with his spells, it doesn't matter. Whoever is wearing those few items with reverberation, hard word to say for a German, sorry, the Callous Glow Ring and the Spell Sparkler, you'll be insane. It's no contest. So basically, get that gear, get a caster, put him, just level that whatever caster he is, take a spell that has multiple hits, like Arcane Missile, like Scorching Ray, and you're done. That's it. Um, you could even go Lightning Sorcerer, or even better, 2-level Tempest. Is it Tempest Cleric? 2-level in the Lightning Cleric, and then Lightning Sorcerer or something. Same thing. You will smash everything. Everything will just die. Um, for the or one last tip, and I don't want to make it too complicated. One last tip for the healer or for the support cleric. Here I have no now. It doesn't really matter. Um, what's really nice is these gloves, and the important part is gains Blade Ward are also available in Act 1. Then it doesn't say Blade Ward, it's called, I think, Luminous Gloves. Or are those the Luminous Gloves? Those are them. I forget it. The gloves you get from Zevlor as a quest reward. Very early in Act 1 in the Druid Graph. Those gloves give a target, when you heal it, resistance to all 3 physical damage types, which is exactly what Blade Ward does. So you give your healer the gloves that give resistance to 3 damage types. You give your healer Those are the gloves you give your healer. Where do I have it? I think I have it on the druid. Nope. I'm just not running around with it. You give your healer. Where is it? There's the ring. There! I've got it here all the time. This ring, also available very early in Act 1 or 2. This ring means if you heal somebody, they get bless. Doesn't say it here, but it's bless. So basically, with those gloves and the ring, you heal somebody, or even the whole party, and they immediately only take 50% damage from all physical sources, and your whole party is blessed. One group heal. And, very important, I just talked about in the beginning, the poison amulet, the poison only applies if your character was healed, so you also activate that for your physical damage dealer, whoever is wearing that amulet. Melee character or range character, mostly. Um, so you just use those gloves, those in green from Zevlor, the ring. There's a nice amulet that gives you one cast of healing word and one cast of mass healing word per day. You can swap that in. Even at the beginning of the fight, throw out the heal. Everybody takes only 50% damage and has bless. That's for the first round all you really need, and most fights won't take any longer anyway. Um, One last thing before I stop, or before I summarize, I think for melee damage, I think I said it before. Not, I think I said it. Let's not talk about it. All those damage, Act 1, Act 2, Act 1, Act 2, Act 1, and this one is also Act 1, I think. So, for physical damage dealers, if you just got gloves, you can walk on anything, you take some gauntlets that give you advantage, or they give you damage on attack, anything, doesn't really matter. Broodmaster's Revenge, simply kill Kara, get the amulet, put it on whoever does weapon attacks, and they're good. And Caustic Band, it's a green ring in normal mode for whatever the reason. It's the same ring, only in honor mode. It's purple. Um, 2 acid damage on weapon attacks. Damage. Boom. That's it. Rest, that's not fully geared yet, but you can do this with the same gear. You could do probably ranged, melee, two-handed, greater weapons. In this build now, I'm finesse build. Doesn't really matter. It's all gonna be insane damage, and that's all gear that's very readily available. What takes this build over the top, like maybe the best damage in the game I've seen, is the armor you won't get until very late, and it basically doubles your damage. So yeah, I know, but it's gonna be insane before two. And I'm not somebody that's torturing myself with solo honor mode runs, but this build I've seen people do it with, and it's possible. And honestly, if you stack just two of some pretty good builds like these together, the game becomes almost trivial. I don't want to say trivial, but especially the Spore Druid or whatever, it's all so good. So, to summarize, just, and I'm really gonna summarize now, just build any damage caster, don't experiment with levels here, doesn't really matter. Give him the gear, it's good. Take some healer type, give him the luminous gear. It's the most stuff that's good here is called luminous gloves, luminous armor. Um, then there are the gloves that give the immunity, the resistance. Take the bless ring, everything very early. Boom, press heal, and you're fine. And then you got 2 more slots for damage. Um, that's built. Just go fighter to 6, and then go maybe 6 levels bard. Doesn't matter too much. It's so much damage too. Weapon doesn't matter. Only thing that really matters is that you got the right feats for the right weapons. So if you're gonna go two-hander, you wanna go greater weapons or heavy weapons or whatever it's called, the feat for extra damage. Like I'm now with this one-handed finesse weapon, you gotta go with dueling and Um, Dueling and whatever doesn't really matter. I think I took Savage Attacker. Yeah, Savage Attacker doesn't really matter. Um, and the third build, I'm running now a third caster just because I want to go with three casters and not another damage build. But here I would go honestly for an easy run or for more easy mode. Make a monk, go 5 levels or even 7 levels in Monk of the Open Hand or Way of the Open Hand, and then put Rogue on it. Give him all the gear you find that gives extra damage to unarmed attacks and stuff, and hit people. The only really important thing is there you have to spec. Um, you have to spec into Tavern Brawler. Tavern Brawler gives you double the strength on unarmed or thrown attacks for attack rolls and damage. Best talent in the game. That one and alert. Just ban on. Um, and that's basically it, but it showcases how simple builds, no need for complicated classes, just work really well if you give them the correct gear. The correct gear is available very early on. And then it really becomes, at times, trivial. Let's see if I can. That build doesn't work. Let's take this one. I know I'm rambling, it's taking way too long. I'm already dreading uploading this because it's like the first thing I've ever uploaded with talking. But who cares? Nobody's gonna watch that anyway. This is, yeah, no structure. I'm getting home, saw the comment on Facebook from my friend, and thought, yeah, just record a quick video. Now it's not quick anymore, but I'm not totally finished because so far it's all, I think, not a structured way to present information, but that happens if you just wing it, which is usually not a good thing. Yeah, come on, boot up, boot up, boot up. Still here, waiting for the loading screen. Mm. Another very, very powerful build I haven't talked about yet that's also very people enjoy to play and it's very easy to play because you're or enjoyable to play because it's also a charisma character, so you the head of your party will have easy time hitting all the dialogue checks, and that's 2 levels in Paladin, 6 levels in Bard, and then almost whatever. You can keep going Bard, you can put levels in Paladin, you can pick fighter, doesn't matter. And you're just gonna be a Paladin with endless amount of spell slots to smite people, and they just all gonna explode. An insane amount of damage. Not a bit worse than the characters I showed before, which is also a good point. It doesn't matter almost what build you play. Everything, lots of stuff can be exceptionally insane or insane enough to easily beat the game. The stuff I showed before is already a little bit over the top. Um, let's see if I got a monk lying around. That's what I wanted to show. Can't see that there. Too bad. Ah, that's an experiment that nobody wants to see. All experiments.
Where bull leads, Minsk follows.
So we just gotta make a quick
Fate, dost thou require, and as thou
new character. So the good thing, cleric with light domain. Just level it through, give him all the radiant orb and healing and buff gear you can get. You're set for life for your buffing. Cleric Tempest domain if you want to just nuke stuff. people will die without end. It's so much damage. Um, Sorcerer. Wild magic is fun but risky, obviously. Storm Sorceries is good, but Draconic Bloodlight is also very good. It doesn't matter. Pick it, slap on the Reverberation gear and the Lightning Charge gear, and you're fine. Um, what I wanted to show is one thing, and that's the Monk build. It doesn't even have to be Monk. Yeah, nah, let's stop. I don't care. If you got questions, ask me. You know where to reach me. Thing is, Monk or Barbarian spec'd for Strength and Tavern Brawler. Barbarian, you throw stuff. Monk, you hit stuff. Let's go with, let's just do one thing, and it's maybe a little bit cheesy, but like, if you want to make a really good monk and we ignore Ether on his hair and stuff, let's just make a good monk for whatever. 15 constitution, is correct, 16. Now we got 2 points we can put wherever, doesn't matter. If you got Auntie's hair, I would put it there. If you don't get Auntie's hair, you put it there, or whatever. Doesn't matter. You're gonna use strength elixirs, which are an endless supply in this game. So you just buy strength elixirs, you give it to your monk. That's why I'm only specking 8. And then you do a quick level through level 5 at least. Here you're getting the good monk, a little bit of good monk stuff. You're taking Way of the Open Hand for the extra attacks, or the good attacks. Extra attack is something he gets anyway. So now comes the feat, and that's the important stuff for the thrower and for the monk. You take Tavern Brawler, you get your constitution to a even number, you get Tavern Brawler. Whenever you make an unarmed attack, use an improvised weapon or throw something, a weapon, your strength modifier, which is gonna be 20, so that's a +5 modifier. Your modifier is added twice to the damage and to the attack rolls. To the attack, it's the most broken thing in the game. It's so good, it's unbelievable. You take that, you drink a strength potion, you never miss again. Your hits will do so much damage, and everything after almost doesn't matter. We pick up the extra attack and the goodies on attack. Level 6, now you could change to another class. I like these buffs for extra damage, so I'm picking them up now. Can respec whenever you want. And now it's just 3 levels in Thief, the usual cheesiness, or in Rogue, what it's called at this point. 3 levels, then we'll become a Thief. Thief, you get the extra bonus attack, or bonus action, and everything after that really doesn't matter. I think I probably would go something. I'm not sure how I build it. Like, the first instinct is to take at least 2 levels in fighter for action search. We talked about it, I think. And then you can go either a 3rd level in fighter for the extra crit roll, or you can go a 4th level in rogue for an extra feat. Doesn't matter. Throwing build, exactly the same. You replace the monk for the barbarian. You pick the berserker for the enraged throw. You pick thief for another bonus action, and again you have like 8 or 10 attacks around with +10 to damage and +10 to attack roll, and you win. Like, I'm not even playing this build anymore because it's so broken. Um, I think I probably should play with 2 characters. Like, with 2 characters, I think every fight is, with 2 of those broken, every fight is just a gimme. With 1 character, I'm probably too bad or would fuck up too much. Like, there are enough people out there that do it easily with 1 character. People that are so good and so abusive in the game, you can do so much. But I think if you take these builds and really min-max them, a party of 4 is just so much overkill. Um, you barely ever see a second turn. You really barely see a second turn of whatever fight it is. Because any damage caster, any monk, any thrower, any good build I showed you with Shadowheart, with melee, and the ranged builds with dual crossbow or even better Titan string bow, the bow that does damage based on your strength, will do about 350 to 450 per round, no questions asked. And that's like is like for 1,000. What has 1,000 damage in this game? Like you'll kill stuff. You really kill stuff without being too abusive. Like if you go really deep into it and go all the abusive stuff, you can do so much more. Haste spores and um, whatever. Olbia from the top rope. Um, Tavern brawler builds. Um, Summoning builds. You can get. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. The game is so good and the freedom is there to do so much that it's just a matter of what do you really use and how complicated do you want to make stuff. And it's not that complicated to make a pure cleric, make a pure sorcerer, make even, it doesn't have to be, but even make a pure monk or make a pure ranger, throw a cleric in there, you're good. You're really good. With that, goodbye from my first time talking on YouTube.